So here we are, day 2. I guess after I left the motel or whatever, there was another confrontation between that woman working behind the counter that gave me problems, and then she was giving one of the other people that was here at orientation some kind of problem or something. He did not strike me as the kind of person that you wanted to be causing problems to. And next thing you know, I'm hearing stories here this morning that the cops were getting called, and he was getting rowdy and drinking and all kinds of stuff. But I wasn't there, so. Wow, man. Wow. I mean, I keep trying to look past the whole situation, but I don't know. For whatever reason, maybe I'm going to have to call the owner of Econo Lodge or whatever to settle this whole deal. But anyway, yeah, like I said, I tried to take those reviews down or whatever. I was going to make today's video just solely about being here at Western, you know what I mean? About going through orientation and everything. Trying to make sure there was no people drama and all that bullshit in it. But no, you people you won't stop. You keep pushing the issue. But yeah, I tried to change that online review, and apparently the attorneys are calling here now and bitching and complaining or whatever. I mean, what exactly is your legal standing here? You might have a problem with the company or whatever. I mean, why don't you call me directly and give me my fucking apology, and maybe I'll work a little bit harder to try to edit or take down the reviews, because I've already tried to edit them and I'm getting feedback from the website that they're posted on, and it's saying that it won't let me update the review, try again later. So it's been telling me that since last night, still telling me it now. And so I don't know what the hell you want me to do about it, but a motivational factor to get me working harder would be, you know, tell me what the hell was going on, why she was acting that way. You know, it at least make me understand what legitimate reason she had to be treating your customers that way. But anyway, like I said, I want to try to keep this video about orientation day number 2. I asked another question. I asked again about pay. How much do you get paid and everything? And the only thing I get back is you'll basically find out when you get a driver manager. If it looks like, smells like, tastes like, remember? So there's some shit about that just ain't right. So we'll see how it goes, and I'll keep you updated. Okay, so we're out here doing our backs right now, getting experience doing our backing up. He's teaching us a new way on how to do this. I'll explain it all to you later, but I wanted to explain something that my damn train of thought got derailed. Hang on. That's right. You remember when I was staying at that one place, and all of a sudden I had to wake up during the night or whatever, and my truck was violently shaking, and it sounded like it blew a cylinder or whatever. It was revving at like 1200, 1500 RPM. That's the regen system, something like that is what it's called. And what it's doing is it's cleaning out the exhaust. So that's what that's doing. So let it do its thing, so it'll clean out the exhaust. Everything's fine. Here's your scenario. You got a truck there, you got an open space here, you got a truck, right? You're trying to back into this space right here. How do you want to come forward 1 truck width, 2 truck widths, and 3 truck widths. Right here is the line of the 3rd truck space. You want to stop about 2 feet, roughly, a couple feet before that. Now you turn the wheel all the way to the right, and you begin going forward slowly while watching your mirror, your driver's side mirror. What you want to do is line up your fairing with your red emergency glad hand, then turn your wheel to the left. All you're doing now is straightening out the truck. Is making sure that the corner of the trailer is about in the center of this space here. This is the space you're trying to go into. You want the corner of the trailer on the driver's side about halfway. In this part here, you want to align this corner of your trailer here with your space, your opening maybe about halfway through the next space over. This is the opening he's pulling into, is this space right here. Now you turn the wheel hard right, and as he's doing this, he's actually lining up the fairing, the aerodynamic fairing on the back of the cab with a part that's on the trailer over there. And all trailers, supposedly, according to the DOT standards, they should all be designed so that at the 4-foot mark of the front of this trailer, you see those rib panels, is this line here is the 4-foot mark. You want to align that fairing with that 4-foot mark while doing this. Judging by how these guys are struggling to straighten out the truck and trailer as they're going into the spot, I think you want to stop your truck when you're backing like that and you're trying to align your fairing in the side of your truck with that 4-foot section where that the panel division is. All trailers are the same way. It doesn't matter how many panels are actually there. About 4 feet in, there's going to be a mark. There's going to be a rib or something there, or the end of a panel or something. So you want to make sure that you stop just before that when you're going straight back and then start turning into the turn. I can't stand all this sun, so I'm using this thing cast in the shadow here. Trying to use it to protect me from getting burned. Now this is the part that was confused. This is the part that was confusing me. After he has you doing this, where you back up to align that panel with the fairing, my question is, at what point, because he's going to have the wheels straight and he's going to start pushing the trailer. He's supposed to be teaching us the way to do this, you know, the trick to it. And so here in a second, he's going to have him straighten out those wheels. Now, at what point does he go before he turns the wheels and follows the trailer? Is it just intuition? Now he has him go a few feet, and then he has him stop and turn the wheel. Once he turns the wheel, he's going to follow that trailer. I need to know how many feet that is between where he starts I think he went too far back, so he pulled forward a couple of feet. It's not very far. It's not very much feet at all. The sun is killing me. Anyway, as soon as he comes back to the truck, I'm gonna have to go over there because I gotta learn this so I understand it for when it's my turn. Looks like he has him go back about 6 feet. Apparently it has nothing to do with feet. It has to do with alignment. Where the angle of your trailer will determine how aligned the fairing and the side of your truck is with that rivet, that panel that's 4 feet from there. So the beginning of the E. So that'll determine whether or not you align it just before the panel or whether you align it just after the panel. This is the space you're going into. Right here's the white line. I think, is he trying to say that we want that corner in between the cone and the white line? Because that's where it's at. I don't know if he's going to have him pull forward. He was saying at the beginning of this thing, you want the end of that trailer to be right here in the middle of this lane, this little parking spot. But he's kind of been changing it up. I think maybe either he's compensating for the way people are driving, or so no, he pulled forward. No, he's got it dead center now. Okay, I think he's using that as a scale reference. If you're in the center, you want your fairing to be lined up on the left side. If that'd be toward the front of the trailer. If you're too far back, you want it lined up on the right side toward the back of the trailer. But again, I don't know how many feet he's having them back up. Might be an intuition kind of a thing, because he's not really explaining that part very well. From what I'm understanding, one of the main things you want to remember about backing is go really slow. If you go faster, you're going to increase your turning radius and everything else. So go very slow. Well, that's my parking job. And I learned some stuff. Okay, orientation day number 2 is officially over. We were told that we're all officially hired. We won't get driver codes until tomorrow. As far as I know, I've already got one because of this whole deal with the hotel. I've been called into the principal's office so many damn times in the past couple of days to resolve the matter, which I still haven't received an apology. But those assholes are threatening lawsuit, this and that, having the attorneys calling and whatever else, right? Anyway, so I found out one thing. That dude who I thought was the other dude's son, because that's what he said, according to this other dude, that's not the case. They're not related. They just hang out or whatever. They're good friends or some shit. So he acts like he's his son, or just has this running joke within the company. I don't know what the hell it is. What's going on with all that? But anyway, we'll go over all of the stuff that happened today in just a second. You've already seen the videos of backing, where he teaches us a new method of backing, a new way. Now here's what he calls that backing maneuver. He says, I think he said it was all-in-one or 3-in-1, something to that effect. It's an alley dock, something like that, and a 45 and a 90 all-in-one. So those different little turns and everything that you set up at the same time, it's all of them in one. When I got stuck the second time, so 2 days before I quit May, that yard, you could not fit a 53-foot trailer, and that's what we were practicing with today. You could not fit a 53-foot trailer between the front of this trailer and the front of this trailer, so this gap in between the trailers. So you couldn't even do that we were just practicing. So I'm still looking to see if there's some kind of a trick or whatever to getting into that yard without getting all screwed up. But there doesn't seem to be one. But we'll pick this up. My God, it's hotter than hell inside my truck. I've got a splitting headache. I'm gonna take some aspirin and charge up this thing because my phone's been going dead. All kinds of stuff happening today. So we'll pick this up when I move to the new spot where I'm going to be shut down for the night, because I'm not going back to the Cockroach Motel. So, 1, I got a splitting headache. 2, I've gotten maybe 8 hours of sleep in the past 3 days, 5 of which was from last night. I really don't feel like doing anything right now, so I'm gonna take it easy for the rest of the day. I will transfer these videos onto my computer, and then we'll go over the photos and things that we went over in class, and I'll go over the clipboard that I've got here that I took a whole shit ton of notes down and everything that's all relevant. We'll go over all that later.
I just not feeling it right now. I want to take a damn break. I'm not even sure I want to work at this damn company. I'm thinking, after everything I've gone through so far, I don't even have a hotel tonight. I tried to find the guy that keeps calling me into his office, relaying the complaints about these people. I keep trying to find... I tried to find him before I left so I could tell him, hey, look, I'm not staying at that motel tonight. I'm not sleeping with cockroaches. I'd rather sleep in my truck or whatever. But I couldn't find him. He's not in his office. That dude is so fucking hard to find and get a hold of when you actually need to talk to him. But, I mean, it feels to me like... he'll just call up my phone and then it's time to jump. Got to do it. Got to find him. Got to come to the office. I get there, he's not there. You know what I mean? It feels like you do what I say, I don't do what you say, kind of a deal. And one, I don't work for you yet. Technically, I'm not being paid anything. I'm not going to be paid for orientation. I'm not being paid, haven't been paid anything, so. And again, I don't have a fucking motel room tonight, so. I mean, it doesn't speak very well for the working relationship, If that's the kind of employer that you are, is you do what I say, I don't do what you say, you come when I call, I don't come when you call, kind of a, that kind of vibe, dude. If happy wife, happy life kind of a thing. If you got pissed off employees, you got a business that's getting run into the fucking ground. Just think about that. You draw more flies with honey than vinegar, and you've heard a million sayings. There's no point in me going through them all, but you understand the gist of it. Don't be pissing everybody off. And there has not been a single day so far of the past 3 days of me dealing with everything that shit has gone according to plan, that it's been a nice day, which is exactly what happened at May. You know how nice that all turned out. How happy I was to quit that shit. So again, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe, fuck. I still got my credit card. You know what I mean? Maybe I'll just swing on by a local used car dealership or something, see some dually axle Dodge Ram sitting back there and say, how much you want for that son of a bitch? I'll go buy a flatbed trailer with a gooseneck or a fifth wheel or whatever, and I'll just become a hotshot trucker. You know what I mean? That's what that's called, where they don't have a CDL. They're just driving around with their... I don't think they have a CDL. Pretty sure they do not have a CDL. They're driving light loads. They don't have ELD mandates and all that good stuff. So I could become a hotshot trucker. I'd be my own damn boss. I wouldn't have to answer to anybody else. In that regard, I could get my own LLC and I could start running my own freight. I could go on uship.com and start an account and start running shit that way. Or I could buy the truck, buy the trailer, or I could just buy the truck and find a hotshot company, which I think the majority are in Texas. I'm in fucking Southern California. That's a long way to go. 1, for work. 2, for the possibility of work. That's even further than I drove to come here to do this. This ain't working out so well. I don't want to rack up, another $500 in fuel just to go over there to hope like hell. Plus we're talking Texas. I mean, it's hotter than hell in California right now. How hot's it going to be in Texas? Anyway, I am so lost right now. I don't know what the hell I'm going to do. I'm not home. You know what I mean? There's no sense of the familiarity. I can't just say fuck it and I'm out. You know what I mean? I already went through all this hell and they basically said, you know, you're hired on. This is a dude that has no control over whether you're actually hired or not. So take his word for what it's worth. I don't until I got a fucking paycheck in my hand from this company, I am not an employee. You know what I mean? That's the best way to look at your situation, no matter where you're working. I'm not an employee until you're paying my ass. You know what I mean? I don't work for you until I am officially on payroll and money has transferred hands from you to me. Anyway, there's a whole slew of stuff we got to go over, but in the meantime, I'm gonna continue to look for other employment. I do not have a good feeling about this company, and I do not want to be working for a place where I just feel like so much shit all day long, every day. And then probably, because the past 2 days in a fucking row, I've been getting called into the office to bitch and snivel and complain and let him vent about these assholes at this shithole corporation that are calling to bitch and complain because they're being shithole assholes and can't fucking run a business right. You know what I mean? That's not my fault. That's your fucking fault. You should be apologizing to me for what you've done. You know what I mean? Be trying to make amends. Not sitting there fucking threatening lawsuit with a company I do not fucking work for to put pressure on me. You know what I mean? Grow some fucking man nuts and approach me like a fucking man and say, look, can we talk about this? You know, but you're not doing that. You could have made amends. You could have made amends, but you didn't. You know what I mean? And I'm not bending over anymore. I'm done. I took that fucking review down. If you're going to keep bitching, sniveling, and complaining, I'll fucking put that review back up. I'm done. I'm over it. You know what I mean? I don't fucking need this job. I don't need this stress. I've been letting you push, and now it's time to fucking push back. You don't fucking like it? Push back some more and see how fucking harder I push. Because you're not fucking pushing me anymore. I don't need this shit. Okay? I walk away right fucking now, you have zero leverage. Okay? The second I stand up and say you're not fucking pushing me, I'm keeping that review up. What you gonna do, bitch? Go in with your felony digital scrubbers and illegally fucking hack the website and take it down or what. I'll send a fucking message to that company and tell them, hey, look, be on the lookout. I've been threatened with having hackers come in and take down my review. I want you guys to keep an eye on it. I've gone in and screenshotted my review in case I have to repost it. You know what I mean? Delete my fucking account. I got 3 more. I can create more, you know what I mean? It don't fucking cost me nothing. It costs you a bunch of money to go in and have somebody hack in and fucking do that. It's not like they're doing it because this is fun. No, they're like, pay up, bitch. You know what I mean? It's a fucking job for them. For me, it's integrity. You're going to run out of money before I run out of the desire to let people know that you fucked me over. I guarantee that. You will fucking go broke before I run out of integrity. So, anyway, still don't know what I'm going to do. If I can find a job that I'm like, oh, fuck, yeah, I'm out of here. Tomorrow fucking morning, I will continue this video so that you guys understand all this stuff and we can go through, I can go through and edit the video and clean up the driver backing and everything else so everything makes sense and we can talk about everything. I'll still do all that because I still have an obligation to you, regardless of other people who own corporations where people stay the night, who don't give a shit about their customers. I give a shit about my fellow truckers. I want you to be safe on the road. I want you to have a successful and happy fucking career. Okay? Your employer don't give a shit about whether or not you're happy. I mean, that's a given. If you don't find that out by your 3rd month in the industry, something wrong with you. They don't care. They don't care about you. Okay, I don't give a shit what they say. I don't give a shit what anybody says. We've been getting told it, you know, time and time again. We got told that shit at my first job, and it's bullshit. They tell you what you want to hear, so don't believe it. Okay, you got to look out for you, and if you don't look out for you, no, who the fuck is? Who's gonna do it? The only person you got in your corner is me. So, I actually fucking care about you. I'm not doing this for money. I'm not doing this for fame and glory. I'm not doing this because I like to bitch about my problems or whatever. I'm doing this so that you have a better understanding of the industry, so that you don't make mistakes, so that you know what you're getting involved in, so you can recognize the telltale signs of a good company or a bad one. You need to look out for you, because who the hell else is going to do it? I can't be there. I don't know your situation. I can't say, this is what you should be doing. This is what he's doing. This is how you should react to it. But here's the give and take, and he's just take. I can't be there and help you with that. I mean, you gotta look out for you. All I can do is tell you what I'm going through, what I'm experiencing, what's going through my head, and to help you have a better education of when it happens to you, how you can react, how you can avoid it, what you should probably be doing. If you're in a desperation situation and you're sitting there going, man, I need money, I need this job. I'm kind of in that situation, but at the same time, I know this is going to be fucking miserable. If I stay here for just a week, it's going to suck ass. If I stay here for a month, it's going to suck ass. If I stay here for a year, it's going to suck fucking ass times 12. So you got to figure out, what do you want to do? What's your situation? What are your options? You always have the option to walk away. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to look at my options again, figure out what I'm doing. This is for me, but we'll continue with the orientation video. We'll go through everything so that if you decide you want to come with this company, if maybe for whatever reason they see my video and they decide to change some things up, hey, fucking cool. You know what I mean? I made a difference. You know what I mean? And then you come on board and you don't have the same experience that I had at orientation. You don't have the same experience that I do when you're a member of this company. If you're working here and they see my video and all of a sudden your situation starts getting better, kick ass. Good. That's the way it fucking should be. No employer of any kind in any industry. If you're a fucking ditch digger, if you're a fucking street sweeper, whatever, if you're working at McDonald's, whatever your situation is, no employer should make you feel like shit. No job should suck ass. But whatever, a lot of them do. And you gotta keep going through them fucking jobs till you find the one you're like, man, I really love this fucking job. I'm so glad I found it and everything else. And hey, good, awesome. I haven't found that yet. I'm in an industry that I like. I love fucking driving. I like driving a truck. I don't mind sitting at a damn shipper. You know what I mean? I like hooking up the trailer. I like doing the pre-trips. I like being on the road. I like being alone. I like sitting in that seat. I like listening to my music all day long. There's a lot of things about it that I like. There's by comparison, there's very few things that I hate. So this is a good industry for me, but I have to find the right company. May Trucking isn't it. Western Express isn't it. I don't know who it is. We'll find out. Maybe these two companies, maybe they're great for you. Hey, fucking awesome. You know what I mean? I'm glad something works for you. It did not work for me. But if you're going through the same things that I am, you can at least recognize, hey, these are the same things I'm feeling. They did that to me. They said the same thing to me. And you know what I mean? That was some shady shit. I don't know if I should be here either. And you can make your educated decision instead of going in it blind saying, I wasn't expecting this. I didn't know they were going to do this. I didn't know it was happening to other people. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, or life and money, the pursuit of happiness. Money is happiness. Anyway, I don't remember what exactly the saying was, but right now I'm looking at hotshot truck driving jobs. That's the guys with like the Chevy Silverados or the Dodge Ram dually axles. Any truck that basically has dually axles on the back. It's got the really wide rear fenders, and he's usually hauling like a 40-foot flatbed trailer. Maybe it has like a miniature bulldozer on it, or he's hauling a couple of plastic totes that's full of either water or I don't know, maybe just hauling like slabs of granite. maybe hauling a couple of cars, you know, from one state to the next, from one end of the country to the other. Those guys are making, on average, $1,200 a week. They're basically, I'm not sure if they're CDL. I'll find out here in a little bit with this series of videos that I'm doing here. So I don't think they're CDL. Some places they might be CDL for the company, or they might be CDL for the law, depending on what state it is, maybe, or maybe depending on what they're hauling. I don't know, but I don't think they're hauling anywhere near. They might be, depending if you combine the weight of what they're hauling, the trailer and the truck, maybe it dips into that amount. I think it's like 24,000 pounds. I could be wrong. Whatever that amount is, I think that's what determines when you actually need a CDL. But anyway, I'm looking into trying to find a job doing that. I mean, $1,200 a month. You know, getting paid more than I'm being paid at any truck driving job that I've had, or I had the prospects of getting into, and not needing a CDL, or even if you did need a CDL, but to do less work and to get paid more money, that's obviously, you know, it's like, sign me up. So, yeah, I want to do that. Especially if it's going to be a hell of a lot less stress. For damn sure if it's going to be a hell of a lot less stress. So right now that's what I'm doing, trying to find another option besides going to work for another 48 state, another OTR company or whatever, hauling 53-foot trailers and having to go through all the bullshit of doing all that again and everything else. So we will see how my hotshot truck driving career, or at least my research into it, so at least I can pass that information along to you guys so that you will be better educated for that particular field of employment. Okay, day 2. Orientation, let's see. I'm going strictly based off of what they said. Apparently, trailer fires, they're mostly caused by you get your brakes heated up so much, eventually your tire catches on fire, then the next thing you know, that fire spreads into the trailer, and there you go. You've lost your load, you've lost all that potential revenue, etc., etc. According to them, if you have a Freightliner, you have the best engine brake that there is. So you can just use the engine brake and not have to touch the brakes at all and ride all the way down that mountain. If you have an International, if you have a Volvo, etc., etc., they tend to have more of an exhaust brake instead of an engine brake. I don't understand the difference. They didn't explain it. I don't claim to know, but I think they said Volvo shuts down like 70% of the engine, and since it's a 6-cylinder engine, that would be 4 cylinders, maybe 3. I don't know. Anyway, so they only shut down a couple of cylinders, whereas the Freightliner, allegedly, this is what we were taught. I don't know. I didn't do any research, but Freightliner supposedly shuts down more of the engine to give you a more substantial engine brake. And again, I don't have enough experience to confirm or deny. So anyway, if you're laying on them brakes and you're going down that mountain and you're feathering the brakes, you know what I mean? Feathering the brakes, basically, think of it like this. You're supplying a constant air source, okay? A stream of air into this. It's basically a blacksmith's furnace, you know what I mean? You got those bellows or whatever, and you're fanning the coals. You're pumping that air, you're fanning those brakes with that pressurized air, and they're getting hotter and hotter, and now you're giving more oxygen to this potential fire. You see how a fire can get started. So when you're coming down a mountain, you want to use your brakes as little as possible. Allegedly, what they were teaching is that if you're coming down a mountain and your brakes are smoking, you can get pulled over and get cited just for that. Your tire. All right, that was the I guess the main director person or whatever. For Western Express, their main terminal is in Nashville, Tennessee, I think. So this is the person that I've been speaking with the whole time about my recruiting before coming down here. The person that mainly said that this was going to be taken care of. This is how things work. You'll be reimbursed for fuel receipts, blah, blah, blah. Which I still have the fuel receipts. Haven't been reimbursed. Just so we're clear, day 3, still no reimbursement. And I was told that I'm supposed to wait till I get a driver code, which is supposed to happen today. I have to wait till I get on the truck. I have to go through the week of training. Once that's all taken care of, then I get on my own truck. Then I get my own driver manager. Then I give the receipts to that guy. So we're talking 2 weeks from now. I'll be able to pay my credit card off, basically. Hopefully, okay, this is all pure assumption. You would assume, okay? Now, assumptions can get your ass into trouble, so take it for what it's worth. But the assumption goes that I would have money before having to worry about the fuel receipts. So, I don't know. But anyway, she called, you know what I mean? She says, you know, she's never really had problems with the Bloomington, California, I think is where I am. The Fontana Yard, whatever they want to call it. I don't know. But it's here on Valley Avenue. I think it says Boulevard. Anyway. So she says they haven't had any problems here or whatever. Again, I didn't have a direct problem, but seeing something like what happened on day 1 where that guy got his head chewed off for just asking a legitimate question. Again, the guy turned out to be an asshole later on. Maybe they had a problem with him. Maybe for whatever reason they were just being short that day. It was Monday morning. Whatever your excuse may be, you know what I mean? I don't like to be that guy, you know what I mean? Don't have regrets. Don't be that guy who at the end of the day you have to explain your actions. You know what I mean? You should sit there and be able to say, that was justified. Every single time you open your mouth, every action you make, you should be able to say, that's justified. You know what I mean? I don't like living that life where you've got a regret, where, you know, I could have handled the situation differently. No, I handled the situation exactly how I should have. Now, I may get bitched at because somebody didn't like it, but I'm sitting there going 100% of the time, my actions were justified. I wouldn't have done it any other way. Every single time. No regrets. So, just try to live like that. I don't like the feeling of, you know, having somebody else have this, being able to pin blame kind of a thing. I don't like that. I don't like being responsible for something. I don't like being at fault. You know what I mean? Anyway, so she calls me, you know what I mean? She emailed me this morning and said, hey, how's it going? And I replied back, not well. And I said, not well at all. And I just sent that. That's it. That's all I said. So she calls me right there during these 2 video splits. And she's talking to me. I don't remember her name. Ashley? I don't know. But she says, you know, they haven't really had any problems here. I haven't really had any problems here. But seeing that happen to somebody else, you know what I mean? It's like, you feel like it's being projected at you too. You see some dude getting hostile in somebody's face. You know, I saw this guy arguing with this guy over here. I thought the 2 of them were going to fight, and I'm sitting there thinking, oh, fuck, here we go. You know, the whole time, immediately I'm thinking, I don't give a shit if they want to beat each other up, but god damn it, it feels like it's going to find its way over here. Somehow it's going to come over here, and now I got to deal with it. I don't want that. Just fuck off, you know? Let me be me. You want to do you? Fucking do it over there and be quiet about it. Out of sight, out of mind, you know? But no, it's right fucking here. It's here, it's here, it's here. Holy shit, I'm surrounded by it. So, all this stress going on, and we didn't even start day fucking 1 yet. People aren't even in their seats yet. Nobody's talking to us yet. Nothing. And already I'm seeing, okay, they're ganging up on this fucking dude. He's got backup. They're in his face. They're pissed off about this. It's like, holy shit, is this what I can expect from this company? You know, so I've got all this nervous inside anxiety building up. It's like, fuck, what have I done to myself? Why am I here? So, but obviously, Ashley, you know, the main I don't know. Shit. They told us, there's a woman, they told us, who's the owner of the company. That might have been her. Fuck, I don't remember her name at orientation. They told us who it was, but they showed us this one big photo of everybody there, and they said the woman, she's the owner. It might have been her, but fuck, I don't remember. I don't remember the name from orientation. I just remember her name from the emails. But that might be her. So obviously, yeah, being your business or whatever, you want to know about this shit if it's happening. But I guess nobody told her, and it didn't affect me directly, physically, or whatever. So I didn't see any reason to say anything about it. But when something like that happens, they want to know about it, obviously. Which, that's understandable, but I don't want to be the one to have to tell you. You know what I mean? Because then I get called back in the principal's office again. Oh, that's what I need. Another one of those? That'll be cool. So, yeah, she was completely oblivious to it. Had no idea it happened. And then I had to tell her about what happened at the hotel. And she's all, yeah, if all this is going down, we want to know about it. And well, fuck, I gotta let this person know about it so they can handle it. I gotta let this person know about it so they can handle it. I gotta let that. Oh my God, we're doing it all over again. Oh, well, that's not this guy. No, you want to go to the guy in the tire department. You go over there. Oh, no, we don't do that. You want to go over to the guy in safety. Just bam, 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 bam. It's like, oh, fuck me. Anyway, I was trying to explain to you about a fire. How to stop it. Firstly, if you notice your tires are starting to catch on fire, if you've got diesel spray from the road or at the fuel aisle at the gas stations and everything, all that stuff gets up under your chassis, gets packed into the mud and stuff like that, and it bonds to it. It can still catch on fire. It's not like you can just throw it on, just start packing rocks and whatever else onto it and just try to smother it out and it'll just go out, is what they're saying. No experience with diesel fires, but what they're saying is all the little speckles of diesel spray and everything that's underneath your chassis and getting on the inside of your wheel bearings and everything else. If you have a wheel bearing oil seal leak and that's getting inside your hubs and it starts making those little lines around the outside of your tire away from the wheel. If that catches on fire, you know what I mean? It's just more fuel, more shit to make that fire more intense. But yeah, if you run into a fire, my personal recommendation, you run into a fire, you want to stop alongside the road, because what is the one most abundant thing that you're going to be able to find no matter where you are? Dirt. Dirt. Grab handfuls of fucking dirt. A fire extinguisher is not going to put out a diesel fire. You start packing dirt on there, at least if nothing else, you can try to smother the thing out. Dirt doesn't catch on fire. Dirt does not freeze. It's the one weapon that you can use against anything. This isn't their recommendation. This is my recommendation. If you have a fire, I don't have any experience with diesel fires, but again, if you've called 911, you've got this fire blazing out of control, your fire extinguisher isn't doing anything, you can at least do something to try to help combat the fire before it gets so severe. It's going to take an hour and a half, whatever, before a fire truck gets out to wherever the hell you are. But you've got dirt everywhere. Keep a little folding little shovel, just fits into this little small of a space, right? Just one of those little folding shovels. You whip that sucker out, you go over there, you just dig up a little splash of dirt, and you crumple it up, you throw it on the fire, whatever unless you're in the desert or whatever, where it's all dry, and it's just got this powdery dirt, and you can just throw it on there, you can at least slow the fire down, if not smother it out completely, depending on how severe the fire is, what kind of fire, etc., etc. So use dirt. But what they're saying is, before the fire gets started, you can don't fan the brakes. Don't fan the brakes. Make sure you're in a low gear. If you're in an automatic, just downshift that sucker, put it in manual. Freightliners have a manual override mode. I don't know about other trucks, but from my experience from driving the 2016 style, at least. So I think it's 2009 to 2016, 17, somewhere around there. That whole generation of truck there has a manual override on the shifter column. So put it in a lower gear and and just ride it all the way down if your engine brake fails. But do it with another truck, see if it works. But yeah, don't rely on your brakes when you're going downhill, because fires happen. They were saying they went down a mountain one time, and all of a sudden they noticed on their right side this thing starts to pass them, and all of a sudden it says Western Express on it. It's like, holy shit, that's our trailer. So what he did was, what he says is that Freightliner is the only one. You know that little brake lever that's on the dashboard? Supposedly Freightliner's the only trucking company or whatever that has that. The only thing I don't really like about it is that it slowly lets the air out of the line instead of just instantly. So that means you would have to pull the red. Yeah, it's the red valve. Red valve's the trailer. Yellow's the parking brake for the tractor. So pull the red valve or whatever. You know, get that to lock up. Get those tires to lock up so that they're slowing down, and then accelerate to pull out of it. To realign the trailer. But anyway, he's saying if you're on ice, best thing you can do is power brake. Hold the brake and the gas at the same time, and that will let the air out of the line for the trailer. So that'll cause the tires to kind of do this kind of a thing. So it's kind of like ABS, I guess. But it'll also allow the truck to pull forward and straighten out the trailer. So power brake if you go into a jackknife. If you go into one, if you're already in one, you're like, oh shit, what do I do? He's saying power brake. That's what he's saying. I don't have that level of experience. I mean, if that works, hey, cool. If that saves your life, cool. Let's see. I will go over the photos here. Showing you step by step everything that we talked about in class. So this was the morning. Nice little sunrise. This was my seat, sitting there looking in the over the whole classroom while we're going over the Qualcomm. Again, I think I would really like it if they had an online orientation or whatever, but. If you're going to be going through their training program, which is what they're going to be having me do for a week, I guess. I mean, I'm assuming that's what we're doing. Nobody specifically actually said that to me, but I'm assuming I'm going on a truck with somebody else, and he's going to show me what the messages look like, because I'd like to know that too. You know what I mean? That's one thing they did not show us, what the actual messages look like, an example of it. In that book that I got from Swift, it actually shows you, here's your fuel stop, and et cetera, et cetera. One of the cool things about this company that I really like is they have, this is also a GPS. So you don't have to go and buy a Garmin or Rand McNally or whatever and have to worry about the damn thing malfunctioning on you like crazy. You don't have to rely on your Google Maps, et cetera, et cetera. This has a navigation system, this little bottom left corner button down here, little touchscreen thing on the ELD, the electronic logging device, or your Qualcomm or your Omnitrax, blah, blah, blah. This also says Omnitrax in the damn thing. So, I don't know, I guess they're all Omnitrax, but the operating system or the company that owns it or whatever is Qualcomm. So people call it Qualcomm, which isn't technically accurate. So we went over the whole thing. It does have navigation on there. Now, I guess it automatically programs your fuel stops. Now if that's true, that's badass. That would be really, really cool. Let's see, what was the next thing? This guy jumped in my damn way while I was trying to take the photo. So they do have a personal conveyance, the Line 5 thing. You're allowed 1 hour. It doesn't say if it's per day or per year or whatever. We're assuming it's per day. Can't use it to further your load or whatever. You have to use it to get to the next safe haven. That's what they call it, safe haven. If you're misusing it, it can be taken away. You want to make sure you send a message every time you use a personal conveyance. You want to send that to your driver manager. That way, if you get stopped by DOT, you'll be able to, instead of sitting there and saying, oh, well, I'm going over here and I called this dude and told him and blah, blah, blah. You want to make sure it's right there in your actual messaging. So if you get stopped by DOT, you'll be able to show him, look, here's proof. I'm going to Walmart. They didn't explain to us whether or not we're supposed to unhook our trailer wherever we're at and then drive to wherever, or if we're supposed to take our trailer with us. They didn't explain that.
I mean, that's still a big question. I'd like to know that because, I mean, if I'm sitting at a TA, these guys use Pilot and Flying J's, for their field stops. If I'm sitting at a Pilot or whatever, do I just drop my trailer there and then drive over to Walmart's or drive to go get my tattoo or go get my hair did and come back? Do I do all that? Or do I take the trailer with me? It'd be a hell of a lot easier if I left the trailer there, but a lot of places, they've got the sign saying, don't drop your trailer. So, as this personal conveyance thing starts to become more common, I think we might start seeing a lot more dropped trailers. These dudes run in, they drop their trailer to save the spot, and then they take off. You know, there's going to be a lot of people misusing that, and that's really going to suck. So then you're going to start seeing a lot more signs being posted and everything else. So, if at all possible, try not to ever get into a situation where you actually need personal conveyance. If you're driving down the interstate or whatever, try to find a Walmart that's alongside your interstate. If you try to find a tattoo place that's alongside the interstate, et cetera, wherever you're going, you know, try to do all that. If you're in an accident, call the cops, hotline, take non-graphic pictures. Don't be taking photos of dead bodies, et cetera. Ask for witnesses and names. Don't discuss. Never discuss. I don't know why they used red. They need like some kind of a white outline on that text or whatever, because it is so hard to actually see that stuff. Especially on one of the other slides that they did. I don't know if I took a photo of that one or not. Call the accident hotline with the police? What the hell does that mean? With them there? I don't. Oh, call it while you're there. Yeah, Western Express is going to send somebody out to the accident scene. I think that's a result of when you call the accident hotline. That's this number down here. So, when you call that number after calling the cops, Western Express will send somebody to you to do, I don't know how they do it, urine sample, blood sample, saliva sample, whatever, to make sure you weren't drunk, you didn't have any drugs in your system, you know, all that stuff. The cops are going to do theirs, but you want to make sure that it's basically, you know, it's to save your ass. So there's another red text over a dark background. You can't see the damn thing. So they need some kind of a white drop shadow or a white outline or something to make that more easily visible. But allegedly, this was done just a week ago before I came to this whole place. This little PowerPoint presentation is what they were calling it. That especially down there, you cannot see the red down there. You can see the red up here because it's offset with the white, but still, I'm looking down here, I'm like, what the hell does that say? Yeah, don't park on the shoulder unless it's an emergency, and then you want to set up your triangles and everything else. When you get into the truck for the first time, you want to make sure, what the hell? Stupid ass phone taking photos. Stupid phone taking photos when I'm not paying attention. Anyway, I'll shut this computer down. So let's see. I've got where is it? I've got all my notes that I took here. It doesn't seem like a bad company. I don't feel right working here, you know what I mean? My first question was, no off-duty drive, no line 5, because they were only telling us 1, 2, 3, and 4. They didn't say anything about personal conveyance or whatever, but then they finally did say, safe haven drive, if you run out of time at a shipper or consignee, send a free-form message stating why you're doing line 5. Let's see. Messages stay in the Qualcomm system for 10 years. So, if you're sending messages like, I don't need this shit, go fuck yourself, blah, 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 your next potential employee might also see that. So, again, live life with no regrets, but at the same time, clean it up. If your definition of living life with no regrets is living life with nothing unsaid, if that's your definition. Let's see. State access policy. Rand McNally Atlas, the little road atlas.
we didn't really cover, yeah, I'm not sure if we covered that in truck driving school or not, but these guys went over it. It's called State Access Policy that you can find in the Rand McNally Road Atlas. And it has to do with driving off route. I guess in California, if you go more than 1 mile off route, that's a citation. 1 mile. It's just shit. Some Walmarts are more than a mile off the interstate. So again, you want to find one that's right next to the interstate. And there's a lot of them. There's a lot that are right next to the interstate. There's a lot of them that aren't. So make sure if you're in a state that has a state access policy that says that you can't be more than 5 miles off route, can't be more than 10, ticket. Tandem axles, by DOT definition, tandem axles. It means both the drive axles and the trailer axles. It doesn't mean one or the other. It means both. When you hear the word tandem axles by DOT. If you hear somebody say slide your tandems, obviously they're talking about the trailer. But when you hear tandem axles from DOT, they're specifically referring to both. Not one or the other. Both. So that might save your ass. Follow the route that they give you. Remember the $1 per mile agreement? Follow the route that they give you. Now, at orientation, they say, the day two orientation, they said, you can go 10% off route. It didn't say per month, per career, per day, or, per route. He just said 10% off route. This is what he says. That's your buffer before Western Express starts charging you that $1 per mile. Now, again, that's not what I signed. That's not what I agreed to. So I can understand, hesitation. I can understand if people are sitting there going, you know what I mean, $1 per mile. It's like, holy shit, you want to watch it even if you're going to your fuel stop. But I mean, your fuel stop's going to be on your route, yeah, but whatever. So, I mean, there's confusion with that. A bunch of people might get defensive because of the whole thing. Again, $1 per mile, just, stick to your route the best you can. If you're making good miles, if they do decide to keep that agreement that you signed saying $1 per mile, they actually said I'm hired on. So I guess in their books or whatever, I'm officially an employee, but again, haven't been paid. I don't like how I've been treated, but that's irrelevant. As far as actually being an employee, you know what I mean? All the signatures have gone through, the agreements are in place and everything else. So, once you sign it, they legally can enforce that whenever they want. If they did start doing that, obviously people are going to start sharing their concerns and spreading, filing Yelp reviews or whatever, saying, hey, this is what happened to me, and telling other truckers, when I went there, they did this and blah, blah, blah. So, I'm not understanding why they have you sign that agreement, but they do. Again, no touch freight. You don't load or unload the trailer. If you've done it before, if you started out doing it, you were a dock worker before you became a trucker, you know what I mean? You're more comfortable with it. But for those of us that haven't done it, it's a scary process. It's a scary prospect. I remember when I first started out doing mechanics, you pop open the hood and you're looking at your engine and you just see this tomfuckery of sorcery underneath in your engine bay, and you're like, what the fuck is causing that noise? You just you don't understand it. But then, you know what I mean? Eventually I got to the point where I completely took my engine apart and put it back together. Now I understand how it all works. Now it's no longer, this big demon that scares me and pushes me into the corner and just, So for a lot of drivers, the touch of the freight, the loading, the unload, you know what I mean? It's a very scary prospect. But once you actually do it, then you start to get past that. That might be a cool thing to work into your orientation. If you could somehow, I mean, we're sitting around doing nothing today. You know, we're just waiting for them to give us our driver code and say, hey, we got a truck for you. So, I mean, just to work another thing into it, you know, we're sitting around, we're doing nothing. This is just a little extra thing if you guys wanted to learn this, if you didn't know how to do it, if you were scared about it or whatever. We're, you know, again, we're a no-touch company. You know, you can make that very clear. You can say, we're a no-touch company, but if you guys wanted to learn this so it's not so scary to you, it's not this, you know, I don't want to go to that side of town. It's all scary over there. That side of the tracks, you know, that kind of a thing, you know, you can help to kind of alleviate some of that concern. That'd be cool to have a company do that, you know. Just, hey, you guys aren't doing nothing. You want to come over here and learn how to use a forklift, pallet jack. See how loading and unloading is done. You know what I mean? Move a pallet around. See what it feels like. You know what I mean? Just get that experience. That's all I'm saying. Let's see. Form and manner fine. It's a $500 ticket if your load tab delivery date changes. So let's say I wasn't aware of this when I was at May, but I like how these guys explain it. Or maybe more than likely, I don't think they did. No, they didn't. No, hell no. They did not explain that. But yeah, I mean, you get a different orientation vibe no matter what company you're going with. You're going to pick up a little piece of knowledge that you didn't get at the last company. You're going to get a piece of knowledge from your last company that you don't get at this company, and so on. So you'll be able to piece all this together into your own little bubble of knowledge and experience. And but form and manner fine. If you're driving to a consignee and it snows or there's a traffic jam or whatever, you're going to be late. So you call and say, look, this is happening, blah blah blah. You know, I need to reschedule for another day. If you don't go back into your load tab in your electronic logging device and update that, that's another ticket. Smart start. That's the terminology for when you've gotten loaded with the trailer, you're typing in your load tab, you've got everything down. Now you're trying to figure out where you're going to be shutting down for the night, where you're going to be taking your breaks, where your fuel stop is, blah, blah, blah. You're figuring out your route. Try to make sure that you have a secondary shutdown point. Because I've had that happen, where hour and a half of central California traffic, I had an hour and a half buffer that I was going to have when I got to my shutdown point. California ate that shit up. I got there a couple of minutes late. So, yeah, the Line 5 thing, I mean, God, that is so, because you can't stop on the side of the road, you know what I mean? This company says it, the last company I was working at says it. Nobody wants you stopping on the side of the road unless your vehicle's broken down. So how do I switch to off-duty drive to protect myself when I go past my hours and I'm trying to get to the next safe haven? How do I do that? That has yet to be explained to me. But anyway, you start running out of time or whatever, you got to use that personal conveyance. But if I had planned the next stop before that and the next stop before that, you know what I mean? That's smart start. You know, this is as far as I can go with no problems. Okay? This is with problems. This is with a lot of problems. You know, plan a couple of stops before that just in case. So that's called smart start. Maybe, I don't know if that's industry terminology or if that's just what these guys are teaching at this orientation or what the deal is. The Qualcomm has several different names. Qualcomm, ELD, Omnitrax, IVG, etc., etc., etc. Payments, TransFlow. Let's see. You want to make sure you scan in your trip sheets and your receipts and any citations and etc., etc. You want all that done before Saturday at 10 p.m. at Western Express. If you want to get paid for it the following Friday. Let's see, the law. You must have 3 empty log books, not pages, log books, the whole book, in your truck at all times. The law requires 2. Western Express says 3, and they said that they will give you the books for free. And I don't remember signing an agreement saying that I would pay for it or anything, so assuming the guy's not lying, they should give you 3 log books in case your Qualcomm ever goes down. You have to start doing paper logs. There was another thing to that we'll go over later, about how long it should be down. I asked about the 8.2 sleeper provision. The guy said he didn't really use it. And again, no further explanation to make me understand it any better. He just explained what it was. It's like, I didn't ask what it was. I said, can you explain it to me? So the computer can understand it. Your Qualcomm, your ELD is going to sit there, and if you take a 2-hour break at the beginning of your day, it'll move your 14-hour clock, and then at the end of your day, you'll only have to take an 8-hour break. Now my computer understands that. My computer understands the little technicalities and how to make that work and everything else. I need to actually find the friggin' legislature thing so that I can look at it, understand it, and explain that to you. Because if I can understand it, I can explain it to anybody. So, let's see. 5-minute cell phone tower lag. This is a big one. You remember that video that I had where I'm driving down the road and I'm looking at my logging device? It was shortly after I started to jackknife the truck. And when I left that spot, I was looking down, I'm counting my time, I'm thinking, okay, I got this much time to get there and blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to figure it out so I can get to the next safe haven, the next spot for my shutdown time. And I'm watching my clock, and I'm looking at the road, and I'm doing all this, and all of a sudden it jumps down 4 minutes. And I'm like, what the fuck? It stole time from me. So what happened there is your cell phone tower lag. So these things are constantly updating, and if this one's time is off from this one, from the previously recorded time, from the last cell phone tower that you passed where it uploaded all that data, it's going to correct it to your device. So that's why it took that 4 minutes. Somehow there was a 4-minute discrepancy between the last spot that I stopped at and this one that I just passed. So when that happens, you'll see your timer just all of a sudden miss time out of nowhere. So in order to avoid that because that can be an hour of service violation if you take a 30-minute break, start moving, and then boom, your clock kicks down to 26 minutes. You just took off with a 26-minute break. Fuck. Exactly. So you want to make sure you wait to 35 minutes, okay? Because I guess none of them will do more than a 5-minute discrepancy. Because mine was a 4-minute. So if you wait that 5 minutes, you should be safe, is what Western Express is saying. Let's see. The Qualcomm might jump back 5 minutes, and all of a sudden you're in an hour service violation. Let's see. At least 15 minutes between changes of off-duty status. Between your pre-trip, your post-trip, your brakes, your fueling, etc., etc., etc. You want to wait at least 15 minutes between each of those. I don't know if that's company policy, if it's DOT standard. I don't know. Personal conveyance thing. Make sure you have at least 3 hours left on your clock when you get to a shipper or consignee. It might save your ass. On average, and again, this is what I found to be true as well, it takes about 2 hours to load and unload a trailer. Every time I go to a shipper, I'm always imagining, okay, it's going to take 2 hours. So if I got 2.5 hours, if I got 3 hours left on my clock, you know what I mean, I can get there with time to spare. Everything's going to be fine. Let's see. Don't forget 8.75 hours if you're going to be running 7 days a week nonstop. Again, these guys are saying that you want to be on duty for pretty much everything. The only time you want to go off duty is what they're saying. The only time you want to go off duty when you're taking your 30-minute break, your 8-2 split, or your end of the day 10-hour break, your 34-hour reset, or if you're sitting at a shipper, or a consignee or whatever, they're loading and unloading the trailer, You know, if that's happening, go off duty. Otherwise, I don't know, you're just wasting time, I guess. Let's see, yard move. There's in their computer system, instead of going line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, line 5, there's another specific exemption in there that says yard move. So you'll be able to drive the truck in their yard. Some of these guys have 50 acres of friggin' land at their depot center where all these friggin' trailers are at, and they need you to move from point A to point B or blah, blah, blah. And the second you start driving and you get past that 1 mile, you get past that 5 mile per hour mark on the speedometer, whatever your truck is set up at, it's going to automatically click you onto on duty. So in order to avoid that, these guys have a thing called a yard move in their computer system so that you can stay off duty even though your truck's in motion without going into hours of service violation. I had a question. I didn't get to ask this. The home terminal and the consignee time zones. You know what I mean? What, is the time zone going to change? Do I have to pay attention to the time zones when I'm going across country, et cetera, et cetera? Typically you do, no matter where you go. So always expect that. It'd be nice. It'd be one less thing that the driver has to worry about if somebody could figure out how to correct that. Make that easier to remember or whatever. I don't know what the time zone's going to be for the computer system. I don't know if it changes depending on the time zone you're in. I don't know if there's that extra, hey, I got to be constantly paying attention to that kind of a thing. I didn't get a chance to ask that question. E-rods, E-R-O-D-S. You have to be in driver's mode in your Qualcomm that they have on your day log tab in order to send a log to the DOT officer, inspector, whoever, if they request your logs. You do have to keep that little piece of paper in your permit book that shows them how to work the Qualcomm, in case they ask, because, in case they're not familiar with it. I mean, there's different makes and models and types of ELDs out there that work different ways. So if the guy's like, well, I haven't seen this one before, I don't know how to work it, I'm getting frustrated with it, fuck it, ticket, here you go. So that's to help to avoid that, why you keep that little thing in your permit book. But if you need to send him, you have to know how to be able to send the guy your logs, because if you don't know how to do that, I don't know, if it's a timely manner, hey, I got shit to do, and you don't send me them logs in 5 seconds, ticket. I don't know if it's like that, but you don't want to find out. Must be off-duty status in order to edit your logs. Must also explain why you need to edit your logs. Approve or certify your logs daily. 1-800-541-74990. These are the Qualcomm people. If your Qualcomm goes down, this is what I talked to earlier about why you need the paper logs. If your Qualcomm goes down, you need to have this phone number. Only they, I think it's what they were saying, only they can approve you to run paper logs. It was either that or you want to call the log people or something at Western Express. I don't remember exactly what that was, who it was you were supposed to call there. But you're either supposed to call 1-800-541-7490, the Qualcomm people, or you're supposed to call somebody else who... Somebody is responsible for... You have to get their approval first before you go to paper logs. Because they have to send you your last 7 days of paper logs. I don't know, maybe through an email or something, and then you got to sign them. However it works. I don't know exactly how that works. Maybe they fax them to some place and you pick them up there. I don't know how that works. But you have to have the last 7 days in your possession at all times that are signed and all that stuff, so that you can show if you get pulled over by another DOT guy and you can say, hey, here's my last 7 days. Make sure you're not in an hour of service violation. Let's see. Logs department. That's what they were called. Your paper logs need to be transflowed with your trip sheet at the end of the load. But before you go through all this, calling the Qualcomm people, before you call your the logs department, you want to call the logs department first. I think it's what they said. Get a hold of the logs department and have them send a reset code to the device. But I would think you would want to call the Qualcomm people to have them do that. But maybe the Qualcomm people is the log department? That wasn't explained. Maybe that 1-800-541-7490, you call that number when you're working at Western Express. You call that number and say, look, my Qualcomm's on the fritz, send it a reset thing. Maybe you are calling the logs department. I don't know. That wasn't explained. Driver training, ELD manual. If a DOT officer asks to see your ELD manual, you need to know how to do it. So make sure you learn that. Don't remember exactly what the hell. I think ELD driver training is one of the little buttons that's on the Qualcomm. You gotta scroll over to the side to the menu options that are off to the side or whatever. You gotta swipe it. Whatever. You got to get over there to the driver training thing and find the ELD manual. Because if he asks for it, you need to know what it is, where it is, and how to show it to him. This was a good saying that the guy had that was doing the training. He says, a lazy man works twice as hard. If you get sloppy, you start doing something wrong, you're going to end up doing it again. It's a good saying. Lazy man works twice as hard. KPRA, Kilo Papa Romeo Alpha. It stands for Kingpin Rear Axle. If you see an abbreviation in your road atlas or whatever says KPRA, that means in California it's 40 foot or less. So that axle can be further forward, cannot be toward the end of the trailer between the kingpin and the center of the rear hub on the tandem for the trailer. It has to be 40 foot or less. Now that's a big one, or less. Because when you just see, oh, it's 40 foot, it's like, what do you mean 40 foot? I have to have it at 40 foot? And everybody always, yes. No, 40 foot or less. Remember when I saw that 38 sign on the other side of California on that friggin' road over there? I'm trying to figure out, what the hell does that mean? 38? This is a 40 foot state. That one, they want you to move it even further. But then your load's not going to be balanced or whatever, but... anyway, 40 foot or less. Any state that you go to and you look in that road atlas and it says, okay, this one's 42. It's 42 or less. This one says 50. It's 50 or less. Or less. Don't forget that. Or less. It doesn't have to be at 50. So that's a big one. That's a big stress causer right there. Don't forget, they didn't explain this, but I remembered this from truck driving school. It's 8 pounds per gallon. If you have 150 fuel tank over here, 150 gallon fuel tank on this side, that's 300 gallons. That's 2,400 pounds. That's 1,200 pounds in this bastard, 1,200 in this one. So 2,400 pounds is a substantial amount of fuel. If you're on empty, you're at the shipper, and your trailer weighs 44,000 pounds, you're going to be overweight when you get fuel. Your DOT, the guy handing me this big wad of tickets, he might be real nice and lenient about, well, did you just get fuel? And it's like, yes, I did. Always say that. Might save your ass. Hopefully they care to say, well, did you just fuel up? Because you're overweight. He's not going to say you're overweight. He probably won't say you're overweight. But that's what he's saying. Did you just get fuel? And just say yes. Every time you hear that question, yes. Another question I had was owner-operator. What year amount of experience, etc., etc. I didn't get a chance to ask that question. So I don't. Every time I asked a question about pay, they diverted the question. Well, it depends on your background and your this and that. It's like, what's the minimum amount of money I can expect to make? Well, it depends. Really? What's the maximum amount of money somebody's making? Well, he's got all the... To date, I have no idea what a Western Express driver makes. I am officially an employee, according to them, and I have no idea what a driver for them makes. So, again, I mean, that's one more thing to throw on top of, you know, do I really need to be working here? But, I mean, that one's, it's not really big for me. It's really an annoyance at this point. It's like, what the hell? Why can I not get an answer to that? You know, that's a legitimate question. Who the hell is not asking that question when they go to an employer? How much am I going to get paid? Well, really? Just give me an answer. $1? You know what I mean? You spit in my face and tell me to go fuck myself? I mean, am I getting paid? That's probably the question to ask. Am I going to get paid? Because so far, I guess we'll work for free. I don't understand why we can't at least get a pay range. You know what I mean? Right now, you can expect me making this. It's like, is the pay scale so fluctuated between trucks, between divisions, between seniority, between terminals, that nobody knows how much somebody gets paid here? I mean, I understand that, well, if I tell you this, you know what I mean, but I tell this guy this, you know, your two numbers going to be different. At least give me a fucking number, you know what I mean? What's the average? What's the lowest? I'm not asking you how much can I make in 50 years when I own this bitch. I'm asking you, what can I expect? What can I expect is no clear answer. So I to date, I have no idea what I stand to make. So anyway, this clip is coming up on 29 minutes long. So we're going to end it here. I hope you guys have learned something about this company, whether or not you want to work here. I talked to my friend and I don't know. I don't think I want to work here. It's a myriad of different reasons, but from day one, from day zero, it did not seem like the company for me. I had high hopes for it, got here, and just my hopes went away. So maybe it works for you. Maybe you've worked here before, whatever. But maybe you're based here locally and you've always thought about it, but you didn't know anything about it. Now, hopefully, I have spread that information along to you. Now you know about it. Stay in your vehicle if you can, because it is a much nicer living accommodation than the motel that they're going to be setting you up at. Maybe you won't have a problem, but a couple of people did, depending on who is working the counter. So hopefully you guys have a better experience with it if you decide to come here. But I do not feel like this is the place for me, so I'm gonna look for employment somewhere else. I might stay here, I might go somewhere else, but I'm definitely going to be looking for a place somewhere else. So, hope you guys enjoyed it. I really hope it helps, and see you guys on the road.